Alright, so some of you probably saw my short of the o-tanto. This guy right here. So, wanted to look back at this one and how well it's held up. So first off, Koreguchi mouth, not bad at all. Haven't ever had to shim this one. Sagio is fairly decent quality, and I love the paint job on this with the red stripes. Just really pops with it. I decided to take a chance and get this one, see how it looked, and it looks good. I like it. Now, mainly, I talked about this when I first got it. People think of like katanas and everything. They think the blade's always wider. That's not the case. Can mean longer too. Now, this has the traditional size handle, a little bit over 6 inches. When I asked Yao for them to make this for me, that was the first thing he asked, was what size handle I wanted, and I said I want a tanto handle on it because of the blade length. So normally, let me get my other tanto here. Normally you have a 13-inch blade. That's pretty common on a tanto. So I doubled that. And this is a 16-inch blade. So if I put the two together, you can see it's much longer than your standard tanto. Now, some people would say this is a shorter wakizashi. Again, I go over that in my unboxing video of this. They did make their tantos a little bit longer at one point, and that was for close combat. There was no wakizashi during that time, but they did have the tanto. So some guys carried, you know, the average length, which works really good to get up into armor, and then some had a much longer blade for a close combat, and you can still get this into armor. It's also got I decided to go with a double bohi on this thing, which I really like on this double bohi. This is before hanbon offered it. You had to ask for it. Now they offer double bohi instead of just the traditional single. And it doesn't feel front heavy. It's got some weight to the front, of course, obviously, but it feels really good. Everything on this is held up too. Nothing's come loose. No, nothing. The wrap is still good on this. They did go over on the Korogata. No, excuse me. That's the Korogata. But they did go, I had a brain fart, but on the end cap, they did go over it with the Ito, which I like. I always say this, whenever they go around the end cap with the Ito, I never have a problem with it. But this thing has held up really nice. Now, the blade, again, is 1095 through hardened, because I didn't want to spend the money to have a differentially hardened blade, because I didn't know how I was going to like this when I had them make it. I gave them the specs I wanted on it. With the double bohi, standard tanto blade, which is a Shinogi Zukuri, but just longer. No width to it. So it's a standard blade that a tanto would be. And then the handle. Of course, I wanted to keep original because normally they'll put a longer handle on them, which I cover this in my video too. But I'll reiterate it. You know, Wagasashis, the handles are supposed to be anywhere from 6.5 to 7 inches max for a Wagasashi. They make them longer to like 8, so you can put 2 hands on it for safety reasons. Okay. But traditionally, the handle is supposed to be shorter. Because legitimately a one-handed sword, a Wagasashi. And they just double pinned it. That's all they did. They double pinned it. So, the only problem with this one is, okay, so you got the front right there. Then you got that one right there. But the back one's covered up with a Manuki. So you couldn't take this handle off, unfortunately. Which is fine with me. I don't have a problem with it. But everything has stayed super tight on this. Nothing's come loose. That's why if I have a custom job done, I go with hanbon. Yeah, it can be pretty thorough on what you want. If you tell him specifically what you want, how you want it done, he will make sure it happens. But this sword, sword, has held up great. And this is pretty much why they call it a short sword. Because in Japanese, tanto means short sword. Because that's basically what it is a short sword. Because even this right here, I have a Bowie knife, and this is still longer than my Bowie. Okay, and it's got a 12-inch blade, so this is a 13. And this one's a Shobu Zukuri. So, and most of you, if you watch my videos, I love Shobu Zukuris. Those are nice. But like I said, I just love how this thing came out. So this is basically an experiment I had done. And so far that I've seen, nobody has done one like this. So I'm going to take a shot in the dark and say I'm the only one that has a tanto like this. Because normally we see, tantos, like I said, the blades are wider. Okay, so that doesn't necessarily mean if it's an o-tanto, the blade has to be wider. It could be longer. Okay. In fact, I'm going to be doing a video this week on wide blades compared to traditional style katanas that taper. Which, are they good for? But I'm not going to get into that here. But yeah, because I have actually researched online to see if anyone else has made a tanto like this, and nobody has. So, and this thing, it's like one of my favorite custom jobs right here, is this. Because it came out really nice, and I'm so pleased with it, the way it came out. So pleased, I might have a matching katana made to go with this and Wagasashi. It's all the same fittings. Same fittings, same saya, So I'll have a 3-piece set of this. But it's held up really nice. And it cuts pretty damn good. You can control it, even though it's literally a one-handed weapon. You can control it. So, the nice thing about this, if you had to, changing it in your hand, unlike a katana, is kind of difficult. But if you had to use it like a secondary shield, or a deflector. It would work really well for that because of that 16-inch blade on it. I do have to put a little bit more of an edge on it, so I'll just take it to the Kuramakus and that'll do that nice and good. But yeah, so if I ever had another one of these made, I definitely would have it differentially hardened instead of through hardened, now that I know how it'll come out. I was hoping when I had this made, it would inspire other people to, you know, just, it's not hard to find, you know, information on stuff like this in their history. And that's how I discovered that they would sometimes make these longer, the tanto. Longer. This kind of borderlines the length that this is wakizashi and tanto. So, but again, I talk about that in my original video when I open this up for the first time. But yeah, Hanbon again did an awesome job on this. Very, very pleased still, because like I said, I didn't know how it was going to come out, how it was going to look, how it was going to handle. Never seen anybody doing this before, so very pleased. And again, I'll say that's why I have hanbon doing all my stuff for me. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys later.